You know, they say every beggar has a story, but what they don't tell you is that some beggars have a destiny. This is the story of Adamu, a man who had nothing, lost everything and then gained a kingdom. But here is the thing about kingdoms, they don't come free. And sometimes the price of a throne is your very soul. Our story begins in the dusty streets of Gaden Taurata, a bustling city where the rich throw money like confetti and the poor, well, they catch it if they are lucky. And in the middle of all this chaos sat Adamu, a beggar with torn clothes, empty pockets and a smile that refused to die. Adamu would call out with dramatic flair, "Arms for the poor, arms for the unfortunate. I accept cash, food, or even motivational speeches at this point." A woman walking past will respond annoyed. "This one again. Every day, same corner, same speech." And Adamu replied, Mama Ngozi, your words wound me more than hunger. At least give me something small now. Even 20 naira will do." The woman would snap back. 20 naira? You think money grows on trees? Get up and walk." Adamu would shout after her, "Walk? Me? But my back is paining me. My leg is not straight. My..." She had turned back sharply and said, "Your mouth is what is not straight. Always making excuses." You see, Adamu wasn't always a beggar. Oh no. 3 years ago, he was a trader. Small shop, modest life, enough to eat. But then, tragedy struck like thunder on a sunny day. His shop burned down. His wife left him, and his landlord threw his property outside like yesterday's trash. Just like that, Adamu went from "I'm managing" to "please anything you can spare." As the sun set and the markets began to close, Adamu counted his earning for the day, 200 naira, barely enough for a decent meal. He sighed and said to himself, "God, I know you are busy. I know there are people with bigger problems. But me sef, I don't tire for this life. Oh. If you can just send small help, anything, even if not dream." And as if the universe was listening, or had a twisted sense of humor, that very night Adamu had a dream, but not just any dream, the kind that changes everything. In his dream, Adamu found himself standing in a grand palace, marble floors gleaming like diamonds, golden chandeliers hanging like frozen waterfalls, and there, sitting on a throne made of pure ivory, was an old king, ancient, wise, and very, very tired. The king spoke with a weak voice. "Adamu, my son." Adamu, confused, responded, "Me? Your son? But, but I don't even know you." The king said, "Time has hidden many truths, but blood does not lie. You are my son, born to my first wife. Before politics and power tore us apart, I sent you away to protect you, but I never stopped watching." Adamu replied nervously, "This must be malaria dream. I knew that woman's rise was suspicious." The king chuckled weakly and said, "This is no fever, my son. I am dying and I have chosen you to inherit my kingdom. But there is a condition." Ah, ah, condition, even in dreams. There is condition, Adamu exclaimed. The king continued, "You must return to the palace. You must claim your throne. But be warned, the throne has a price. Power demands sacrifice, and not all that glitters is gold." Sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice? Adamu asked. "That you will discover when the time comes," the king replied mysteriously. Adamu woke up sweating. his heart pounding like a talking drum. He looked around a small corner under the bridge where he slept. Same old mat, same old mosquitoes, same old life. He laughed nervously to himself. Dream, just dream. Too much hunger can make you say things. But just as he was about to dismiss it all, something caught his eye. A small golden ring, intricately designed with the royal crescent of Gideon Saurata, sat beside his mat. The same ring the king wore in his dream. Adamu picked it up, trembling, and whispered, This is real. This is real. The next morning, as Adamu set on the journey. Now, let me tell you something about destiny. It doesn't send you a limousine. It doesn't give you a map. It does drop a clue and says, figure it out. And that is exactly what Adamu had to do. As he walked toward the palace, he talked to himself. Okay, Adamu, you have a rare ring. You had a dream. The king called you his son. So what do? Simple. March to the palace and announce, surprise, your prince is here. Yes, that will work perfectly. They will definitely not throw me in jail. But Adamu was desperate, and desperation makes even the craziest plans seem logical. So, with his torn clothes and rare ring, he set out for the palace. A 3-hour work through judgments, mockery, and a lot of this one don't crease. When Adamu reached the palace gates, the first guard laughed at him. You, a prince, my friend, go back to your corner before I reset your brain. Adamu insisted. I am serious. I have proof. Look at this ring. The second guard squinted at it and said, That is the royal crescent. Where did you steal this? I didn't steal it. The king gave it to me in a dream, Adamu explained. The first guard mocked him. In a dream? So now we are accepting dream evidence. Should I also tell the Oba about my dream, where I married Beyonce? Adamu pleaded. Please, just let me see someone in authority. Anyone. Now, here is where things get interesting. Because at that exact moment, the king's chief advisor, Chief Okon, was passing by. And when he saw the ring in Adamu's hand, his face went pale like someone who just saw their village chief. Chief Okon shouted, Stop! Where did you get that ring? Adamu replied excitedly, Finally, someone who recognizes it. The king gave it to me. I'm his son. Chief Okon stared intensely at him and commanded, Come with me now. And just like that, Adamu, the beggar, the nobody, the man who couldn't afford breakfast, found himself standing in the throne room of Gideon Saurata, face to face with King Musa himself. Except this time, it wasn't a dream. The king lay weak on a royal bed and said, Adamu, you came. Adamu, with tears in his eyes, replied, You are real. This is all real. The king nodded. Yes, my son. And I don't have much time. The council must hear the truth. Chief Okon protested. Your Majesty, with all due respect, this man is a beggar. How can we be certain? The king interrupted firmly. The ring does not lie. DNA does not lie. Test him if you must, but I know my blood when I see it. And so they did. Blood test, family records, ancient documents, everything confirmed what the king already knew. Adamu was indeed his son, lost to the streets, but destined for the throne. In 3 days, Adamu went from sleeping under a bridge to sleeping in 6 sheets, from begging for food to having chiefs ask what he wanted for dinner. It was overwhelming, magical, terrifying. Adamu stared at himself in royal robes and said, This is me. I look like someone who knows where the TV remote is. A royal attendant announced, Your Highness, the council is ready for your coronation briefly. Coronation. Already? Well, I don't even know how to king yet, Adamu exclaimed nervously. But ready or not, destiny was calling and the throne was waiting. Now, every kingdom has its politics, and Gideon Sarata was no different. There are people who love the idea of a new king, and there were people who, well, let's just say they had other plans. Chief Okon addressed Adamu. Your Highness, before you can be crowned, there is an ancient tradition. A ritual, Adamu asked cautiously. A ritual? What kind of ritual? Chief Bello smiled cunningly and explained. A simple one. You must visit the sacred grove and receive the blessing of ancestors. That sounds ominous, Adamu replied. Chief Okon reassured him. It is simply tradition, Your Highness. Every king before you has done it. But Princess Zainab, the king's daughter, stepped forward and said, Father never mentioned any sacred grove to me. Chief Bello responded dismissively. With respect, Princess, these matters of kingship, not of daughters. The princess glared at him and warned. Careful, Chief. My father may be weak, but I'm not. Princess Zainab, beautiful, sharp-tongued, and fiercely protective. She didn't trust the chief, and she definitely didn't trust this sudden ritual. Later that evening, Zainab met with Adamu privately. She said to him, You don't have to do this, you know. Do what? The ritual, Adamu asked. Yes, something about it feels wrong. My father never spoke of such thing, she replied with concern. Adamu sighed. But if I don't, they will say I'm not fit to be king, that I'm just a beggar playing dress up. Zainab challenged him. And what if you go to this grove and don't come back? Adamu smiled sadly and said, Then, at least, I would have tried. Zainab, I have been nothing my whole life. If this is my chance to be something, I have to take it. Even if it costs you everything, she asked. I have already lost everything once. What is one more time? Adamu replied. And so, against Zainab's warning, Adamu agreed to the ritual. The sacred grove was deep in the forest, a place where even the birds refused to sing. Ancient trees twisted like tortured souls, and the air was thick with something heavy, something old. Chief Okon instructed, Your Highness, you must enter alone. Speak to the ancestors. They will guide you. Adamu nervous asked, Alone? Can't you come with me for moral support? The spirit do not entertain visitors. Only the king may enter, Chief Okon replied. Adamu took a deep breath and stepped into the grove, and immediately everything changed. Inside the grove, ancient voices echoed around him. The first ancestor spirit spoke. Adamu, son of Musa, you seek the throne. Adamu trembling answered, Yes, I seek to serve my people. A second voice challenged him, to serve or to rule. Is there a difference? Adamu asked. The first voice replied, Every king before you asked the same question, and every king replied the same question, and every king paid the same price. What price? Adamu demanded. A third voice declared ominously, The throne demands blood, not yours, but the blood of the one you love most. Adamu horrified shouted, What? No, I won't. The second voice interrupted. Then you will not be king. The choice is yours. Adamu, power or love, you cannot have both. And in that moment, Adamu understood. The throne wasn't just a seat. It was a cage, a curse. Every king before him had sacrificed someone they loved. That is why King Musa looked so tired, so broken. He had paid the price too. Adamu stumbled out of the grove, breathing hard. Chief Okon rushed to him and asked, "Your Highness, did you receive the blessing?" Adamu shouted, "Blessing? That was no blessing. That was a curse." Chief Okon tried to rationalize. "Your Highness, every king must make sacrifice." "Sacrifice? You want me to kill someone I love? What kind of kingdom is built on blood?" Adamu yelled. Chief Okon replied calmly, "The strongest kind, Your Majesty. Think of the power, the legacy." "Legacy? My legacy will build that I murdered innocents of the chair." Adamu responded furiously. And right there, under the moonlight, Adamu made a decision that would shock everyone. The next morning, the coronation was set. The kingdom was ready, but the king was gone. Chief Okon burst into the throne room shouting, "He is gone! Prince Adamu is gone!" Chief Bello demanded, "What do you mean gone?" Princess Zainab held up a letter and said quietly, "He left this," and in that letter Adamu had written, "To the people of Gidan Saurata, I came to you as a beggar, and you offered me a crown, but I have learned that some crowns are too heavy, not because of their weight, but because of the price. I cannot be a king who rules through sacrifice of the innocents. I cannot build a throne on bones and tears. So I choose to live not as a coward, but as a man who knows that true power is not in taking, but in giving. I give you back your throne. Find a king worthy of it." Signed, Adamu, the beggar who almost became a prince. Zainab, with tears streaming down her cheeks, said, "He is right. This kingdom has been cursed for too long." Chief Okon asked desperately, "But who will rule?" Zainab replied with determination, "Someone who understood that leadership is service, not slaughter. We will find a new way, a better way." Months later, Adamu returned to the street, but he was different now. He wasn't just a beggar, he was a teacher, a storyteller, a man who reminded people that crowns don't make kings, character does. Under a tree surrounded by children, Adamu taught them, "And that, my young friend, is why you must never let power change who you are. The moment you sacrifice your humanity for success, you have already lost." One child asked, "But Uncle Adamu, don't you regret it? You could have been a king." Adamu replied and smiled, "I was a king for a moment. I wore the robes, slept in the palace, tasted the power. But you know what? I learned. Being a king without a conscience is just being a well-dressed monster." Another child asked, "So, what are you now?" "Now, I am just a man, a happy man, a free man, and that, my dear, is a crown no one can take away," Adamu answered with contentment. And as for Princess Zainab, she became the first queen of Gidan Saurata, not through bloodshed, but through reform. She ended the ancient curse, broke the cycle of sacrifice, and built a kingdom where power served the people, not the other way round. One day, Zainab visited Adamu in the market. She said to him, "You know, you could have had all of this, the palace, the power, the respect." Adamu replied simply, "I have something better, peace. The people speak of you. They call you the wise beggar," Zainab told him. Adamu laughed. "From the annoying beggar to wise beggar. I will take it," Zainab said sincerely. "Thank you, Adamu, for reminding us what true leadership looks like. No, thank you for proving that change is possible, Adamu responded warmly. And so, the beggar, who almost became a prince, taught a kingdom the most important lesson of all, that the greatest throne you can ever sit on is the one built on integrity, compassion, and the courage to walk away when the price is too high. You see, my friends, life will offer you many crowns, some with glitters, with gold, some will promise power. But if you have to sell your soul to wear them, they are not crowns, they are chains. Adamu chose freedom over power. He chose love over legacy. And in doing so, he became greater than any king. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the throne you sit on, it's about the man or woman sitting on it. And if you lose yourself chasing power, then what is the point? Remember, not all who wear crowns are king, and not all who refuse crowns are fools. Sometimes the wisest thing you can do is walk away. Thank you for watching this story. What lesson did you learn from it? Kindly share your thoughts in the comment section. Give this story a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories. Until next time, bye.